to say, you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit I already do. Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops. But I have to be me, and everyone can see your anger is misplaced, and I'm gonna tell ya, don't hate me 'cause I get attention. Don't turn me into what I'm not. I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. No, oh, oh, oh. And I ain't never gonna stop. Come on. Listen to me. I've tried so many times to tell you this is as good as I can be. Why isn't it enough to be faithful and also be the hit of the party? Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops. But I have to be me, and everyone can see your anger is misplaced, and I'm gonna tell you, don't hate me 'cause I get attention. Don't turn me into what I'm not. I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Never gonna stop. No, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't never gonna stop. No, no. Oh, I ain't never gonna stop. I ain't never gonna stop now, baby. Never gonna stop now, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no, no. I ain't never gonna stop now, baby. Woo.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're all well and welcome to the channel. It's been a little while since I've streamed, and I can actually put a bit of background music on, I don't actually mind. Important note, today I have got something to admit to you, and as you've seen the I'm sweating so bad. And let's see. There we go. This is not something easy to admit, and a lot of people know about this condition which I've had, and it is multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. I am undiagnosed, but I have basically gone to a doctor who's referring me to a specialist, so it's something I'm looking at in the future, and it's difficult to live with. The dissociative identity disorder which I've got it's memory based, so my other identity is Dem. You lost your razor? Yeah, I know. It's been a long week, and I have been all over the place. I've lost a couple of days, I've lost hours, and there is amnesia when we switch. So I think it was Friday, I lost the entire day. I had no idea what was going on. I got home from work, and went to the doctors, did all this, got the news that she's sending me to a specialist, and then after that it was dark. I've described it in Discord as like the closest I can like suggest it is being in a car. So at one point you're in the driver's seat going down the road, and you're driving to the destination. You know where the destination is, you know what time it is, what's going on around you, so you can see, you can hear, and you can feel. And then halfway down the road, somebody else takes you out of the driver's seat and puts you in the back seat. And that is where dissociation comes from, and it's dissociating, and everybody dissociates to do. It's a form of, do you know when you daydream? It's basically that, but it's much more severe than that. And what happens is they put you in the passenger seat behind, and you can still see, you can still feel, and you can still hear, but you cannot move. So you can see everything around you, everything's going normal. And then there's a third option of DID which happens, and they put you in the back. So they put you in the car boot or trunk or whatever you want to call it. You can't hear, you can't feel, you can't see, but you know you're in the trunk, and you know this is happening. And there's no concept of time either. And this is basically what happened on Friday. I lost a good portion of my day, and when I switched, it was the next day. And it's pretty terrifying and very upsetting, as you would, you know, it's like if you plan your day out and you wanted to meet, say, family, for example, or if you've got a work appointment, you question yourself if you've actually gone to see the people that you need to see on that day. And it's unfortunate that we're in a society which don't feel comfortable enough to search or speak to people about certain mental issues and healthcare. But I think it speaks a lot about the community that we are growing. That I can speak honestly, and even though I am terrified right now, I am sweating so bad right now. But I feel comfortable enough to tell you what's going on. The other notion of why people don't actually say they're going to speak to doctors or things like that, or especially with mental health, they don't want to be perceived as crazy, or like you're losing your mind. And people, like, I was watching a film called Split, and Ryan actually mentioned this, one of my mods, and Split puts a bad perception on people with DID. It gives a perception that all people with DID are violent, unpredictable, don't really have patterns, and sorry, I have got a way too dirty mind for that one. I heard something else other than cat, but we don't talk about that on here. I'll leave that to your imaginations, but I'm so sorry. But yeah, it leaves a bad stigma around the disorder, and I'm thinking of maybe doing some more vlogs and stuff like this, just to describe what it's actually like to have DID. And it's not an uncommon disorder either. I've been reading up upon it, and I think it was like the same amount of people who have schizophrenia have DID. So in your lifetime, you'll probably come across somebody who has DID or knows somebody who has DID. it's not as spoken about, it's not as talked to. You should do more vlogs, it would help a lot of... Yeah, I think so as well. I didn't really know what to call it at all. I didn't... It's like saying somebody with Tourette's, for example, who was ticking and swearing and saying like some horrendous stuff about bananas. I don't know. You just use your imagination. And them not being able to, identify what it is. And it's terrifying to say. And you can go to the doctor, and I've gone to the doctor before, and they basically said it's attention seeking, which it isn't. And it's same with a friend of mine who has got Tourette's. They said that she was basically attention seeking, and it puts you off going to the doctors. And it's a horrible way to feel that you're not trusted enough, or you feel put down because you don't want to be classed as attention seeking. And I think that's what I kind of came across, and I didn't want to be diagnosed with something else. But yeah, I've been looking at what the symptoms are for DID, and I've got quite a lot of them. I wouldn't say I've got them all. There was something like drug use and alcohol consumption, and that is just not me either. But what we used to do is actually leave notes. They're also called the other identities alters, and that is also, I'm trying to get used to all the terminology as well. And she didn't talk to me for the longest time. I knew she was there. There was a lot of like voices and stuff like that, but I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was just, making it up or something like that. You don't believe in yourself. Yeah, exactly. And she's actually sending me a letter within the next, I think, week or so, something like that. And she's going to refer me to a specialist, see what goes on there. As you can tell, I'm spitballing here. I'm very nervous. And just before this, I was dissociating. Yesterday, I was dissociating all day. I was feeling horrible. I was feeling very tired. And that goes hand in hand with the DID as well. Like sleep deprivation is a thing which affects a lot of people. Yeah, I know. It means a lot. It really does. And it's not something I wanted to do. I've had it for quite a while. So yesterday I was actually like writing notes and stuff like that, just to see, because I didn't know how to like make this stream. I know it was something that needed to be done. I needed to talk to somebody. I needed to talk to my community. I took a week off, and you all know that. And this week has probably been very difficult for me. And Dem has actually become more active lately. And I only know of 3 alters. And one was Ash, which is me. There is Angel, which is a very strong, protective alter. And then there's Dem, who is a bit more troublesome. But she's very strict. We've been having talks with Angel to decide who can control the host, which is the body. And we have agreed that Angel will be taking control. It is possible that Dem wanted to go for it, but I think that could cause more harm than good. I trust Angel to be more suitable for our safety. And so I'm going to go through some of the symptoms in which DID is caused, and like if you've got DID, this is probably what you've got, and how you would feel. And so let's just bring this over. Okay. So typical symptoms of having DID is feeling like a stranger to yourself. You don't feel that you associate or you feel accustomed to your body. And not only that, you look at yourself and it's like looking at someone completely random. And I feel that quite a lot. Feeling that there is different people with you. I've always felt that way. And even now, I know there's Dem and there's Angel, but I hear other voices too. I don't know if there are other alters. I don't know if there are, different personalities who want to reach out at some point, or if it's just us. Another symptom is referring yourself as we. I do that quite a lot. Personally, I do that a lot. Especially lately when speaking to Yoriko and Ryan and people in Discord. And people in Discord have been really understandable and understanding and just generally very nice. I'm very proud to be in part of this community and what it's growing towards. I know I haven't streamed in quite a while. I'm a bit obsessed with Borderlands 2. Like, very obsessed. Dem has been making little guides of like the best DPS kind of builds and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome, and to get her involved as well is pretty good. So there is behaving out of character. So that would come under, I'll take Dem as an example. When we switch, Dem apparently has a different, stronger accent, which I didn't know it was that strong. So when speaking to Ryan, I don't believe has spoken to Dem. Yoriko has spoken to Dem, and she tends to hide because she doesn't want to draw attention to us, and it's understandable. Alters are normally there to protect parts of the brain and yourself. So usually DID is formed from either a physiological, emotional or sexual abuse during childhood. This is normally between the ages of 7 to 9, I believe, when the person, because it said like from the ages of 7 to 9, this is where your strong personality is formed. Like you as a whole, as a normal person, would say your personality would be be very strong at this age. So it's going to shape you to the person that you're going to be. And of course your personality can change over time. I'm not saying that, but this is like your fundamental personality is formed. And what happens is when there's like trauma of this kind, I believe the mind can splinter in terms of protecting yourself. So it's like there's mental blocks in your mind, and what happens is a personality, for example, littles are children, littles are child alters, and they would revert back to a time where they were happy, or it's like the childhood in which you didn't have, they would be. So they would be excitable, for example, and there's music though. So it's very complex, and a lot of people and a lot of doctors actually misdiagnose it as schizophrenia. It isn't schizophrenia at all, and there's a lot of skepticism around DID as well. But this is usually when the mind splinters at a very young age. I believe it can go on a little later. For me, it was around 7, maybe a little later, maybe 8 or 9. I personally cannot remember. And Dem is a protector. She's always been a protector, even though she's very troublesome. She is very outspoken, but she's very honest. She has always put our system first. So our parents don't actually know about this. So this is the first time I've openly spoken about it. And I think it speaks volumes for how much I trust this community and how much support you have all given me over the last coming months. I do appreciate that. And it's amazing how I can just band together with you all. I've been careful to keep my little hidden. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. It really is nerve-wracking. And for littles, my advice would be not to reveal their names, especially if you don't trust a person. For example, if you do YouTube or if you have social media, do not reveal their names, because there are a lot of fucked up people in this world. I'm not saying all people are like that, but if they have your name or your little's name, it's easier to sway a child, and that's what they are. It's like saying, they find out your hobbies, and I've seen it in forums. I've seen it in a lot of forums where people like this exist, in which they will try and sway a little, and it's very harmful. And they'll try and let the child to do very disturbing things. So it's best, I would say, go into these forums, but be safe. That is my priority rule for everybody who has DID or anybody in general. Just be safe and just be careful of who you speak with. As I said before, people with DID and people who are trying to connect with their different alters, it's difficult to connect to. Not all the time, sometimes they will approach you, but if they're not approaching you, do not force it. I would say take your time. Even if you hear them but they're not talking to you, and you're trying your damnedest to actually try and get their attention, don't be feeling like it's personal against you. It's probably not, and that is not the reason. It's like trusting somebody and you don't want to be hurt. And as I said, a lot of my personalities have not spoken to me. I can hear multiple voices, and I'm not 100% sure I have got other alters other than Dem and Angel. But in case there is, I'm not going to push it. I'm so freaking nervous right now. But yeah, another symptom would be different handwriting. Internet trouble, I don't know if that's me. No, it isn't. So Dem has got a very posh handwriting. It's very squiggly. It's very long. Mine is very short and usually detached from it. Hers is very wavy, I should say. It's very interesting to see. So my recommendation is go and get a journal, or maybe some have I got some here? I have. So I would say post-it notes. Usually I find these hanging around somewhere, and she tends to write on them and leave me little notes. And I'm going to actually buy a journal myself and start recording when we switch, what happens in those days, and basically what's going on. It's a way for other alters to actually come forward if there are other alters. You're doing great, thank you. So I do know Demi's a wonderful. Yeah, she's autistic but very twisted. I would say let's just go with twisted. She's very dark sometimes. But yeah, I would say go get a journal. I'm going to get a journal today, I believe. So if there are alters that do not wish to speak to you openly, or there are actually alters which are mute or selectively mute, and it would be a lot easier for them to write it down, or if they feel they can't actually connect with anybody at the moment, it would be it'd be like a diary. So it's a lot easier. I know Dem would benefit a lot because she has a lot of thoughts and she's very pathological with her research. She's actually been helping me with my research with this. And Dem is indeed dark, yes. She is very dark, but she's very, well, there's a lot of words which you can describe, not all good, but it is where it is. So let's have a look. So the basics of DID, and this is what I wrote. So it says there are 2 or more distinct personality states. So these are your base or your strongest alters. So me personally, I have only got 2 of which I know. So there is Angel and then there's Dem. And Sirius, yeah, she's very strict, I would say. She's very strict, but she's kind. She's kind when she wants to be. As I said, I don't know any other alters, and this is something I'm going to be working on and trying to improve upon. I do want to make more contacts, so that's why I'm going to get a journal. I'm also going to be speaking to a specialist, see what they say. I will not be taking any kind of medication at all. If they offer medication of any type, I don't know if they do. I will not be taking it. It's not a thing that I want to go down. I don't want to be heavily medicated when doing this. I feel it's going to be a part of my life for a long, long time, and go in it just 100% sober. I want to experience near enough everything about it. It's not all great, don't get me wrong. It's very loud as of late. But it's something I need to experience for myself. And now I don't have to do it by myself. I have you, and which I'll be doing regular vlogs on this to keep you all updated. And I'll also be doing streams as well. And I'll be speaking a lot more in Discord. As I said, last week has been hectic. I've been trying to get in touch with a doctor for quite a while, and it took me a month to actually get an appointment, and now they referred me to a specialist. So we're moving slowly up in the world. We're right here with you no matter what. Thank you, Ryan, that means a lot. And so the other thing on basics of DID would be the person must be distressed and have difficulty functioning due to the disorder. I do agree with that in a sense. I personally, with the amnesia, it goes hand in hand, so it's difficult sometimes to get through the day, or you can miss days like I did with Friday. I was so pissed yesterday. I really wanted to spend the day with a friend, and she got put on the back seat, and I think we ended up doing something else. It was basically, I was put in the trunk moment. I didn't know what was happening. It was very dark, and that was it. My day was gone. All I did was work, get home, and that was it. So it's something we need to speak with a lot more, and I think we need to set up ground rules on the host and stuff like that. But that will be something I'll be talking to people in Discord about, and because it is a very supportive Discord. I'm so proud to be a part of it and just be able to talk to people, and it does mean a lot. So I'm so freaking nervous. So that is, there are a few other basics of DID, and it's difficult. So I've got actually a big journal right here, just full of different stuff. That is a bit of sketching, like all the way down here. I didn't really know what to say today, and it's difficult to actually say this is what's going on, because I don't really know what's going on. Personally, I do not know what's going on, but I know it's real. So, for people with DID, I would say personal safety is the number one rule. Make sure you can trust people. Don't go around just saying you've got DID without knowing people, because a lot of people are very vindictive. They can use it against you, or they can make things a lot worse. But don't be afraid to speak to people either. But yeah, any questions as of yet? I would be more than happy to try and answer any. Unfortunately, my knowledge on this is not very, very vast. But yeah, today before the stream, I was dissociating very bad, and usually what happens is I get flushed, and I feel a great heat on my face, and I get massive headaches just before it all basically blends in. And it's such a weird thing to look in front of a mirror and actually switch. It's like a ghosting effect. It's so weird, I've got to admit. I think that the good will outweigh the bad when it comes to sharing your experience. I think so. That's why I've kind of done this as well. It takes so much courage and bravery to do this. I wasn't sure. I was basically bricking it before I wanted to start this, and I had no idea. And there's still a lot more to go into, and it's like I haven't even delved into like all this research and stuff like that, and I'm blown away by it, because as I said, me personally, I didn't know about it. Like, I didn't know what to call it. I knew it was MPD, or multiple personality disorder, but I didn't know much about it and what was going on with it. And it's basically a lot of people saying you can go and talk to therapists and stuff like that. Personally, I would like to, but I don't trust doctors or therapists that much. I appreciate that, Ryan, thank you. But there's a lot of people saying basically alters are not a figment of your imagination. They are people to and in right of themselves. They have the right to exist. These are people who are created or born to support you. These are people who hold you together. If people give you a bow and hold you back, I'm talking more. Thank you, I appreciate that. And personally, I found out that they really do have a right to exist, and I wouldn't be in this much of a good state to actually talk about it without having you and having them to speak with, and it just means the world for me to be able to do this, and it really does mean the world. So thank you all, really. Thank you. Like, I was so nervous before this. I was sweating. I was starting having headaches, and Dem was pushing her way out. She was wanting to switch, and I was like, this isn't gonna happen. I don't want the world to see Dem yet. Dem would be very catastrophic at this time for people to see. I'm not comfortable yet to actually show her. She's a freaking force of nature, I've got to admit. She'd kick my ass. 100% she'd kick my ass. But I would say that about every woman in my life, to be fair. In time, yes. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. And it's something that I needed to talk about before. But being safe and actually knowing what it is now, it's helping me a lot. But as I said, I'm going to get a journal. I'm going to be writing in it. And I'm going to be having a word with Dem and Angel and whoever wants to come out. And I'll be sharing it on YouTube, or I'll be showing it in Discord, if with their permission, of course. And we're going to keep you updated on what's going on. So thank you all for this. And I am spitballing right now. I am terrified, but I'm happy as well. I'm really happy that this has come out, and to have all this support here, it means the world. So thank you. So thank you. It's amazing. I cannot say it's any short of amazing. I know. I really do appreciate it. I really do. So, are there any questions in which you are curious about, or like how they work, the system works, how the DID is processed, or how people like kind of graduate into it, or how they discover it? I personally didn't know really until I was about 8, maybe 9, and it was basically soft voices at the time. They weren't very loud at that time, and there was something basically very traumatic happened, and then there was a lot of screaming and multiple screaming at the same time, like as loud as they could possibly be. Like it was like a heavy metal concert, and the mic and the speakers are right next to your ear. So they can all positively exist. Yeah, it's strange. Like there is an inner world in which we all live, and it's like a select group of rooms in our mind, I guess. And it's like we all have our own space, but we are all speaking at the same time. So, for example, if say Angel switched with me, I would be able to speak with them freely. And there is other times in which it's just dark though, and that would mean like I cannot speak to anybody, and it's just dark, but you know you're there, you know? It's such a bizarre feeling, but yeah, we can all positively exist with each other, but we've also got feelings about each other as well. So it's like I've got my own opinions on Dem, I've got my own opinions on Angel, Dem's got her own opinions on me, and for example on Ryan, Yuriko, and you, Amy, and we've all got our own hobbies, our own interests, we've got our own goals, and it's, as I said, we've all got a right to exist, and we're all our own person. And it's just strange that we inhabit one body. But to be honest, if say it was all gone, like tomorrow I woke up and there was no Dem, there was no Angel, but I knew about it, I'd miss it, because it'd be silent and it wouldn't be familiar, and it won't be. If it's like a community, like we protect each other, we support each other, we coexist together, we talk to each other, we laugh together, and you would lose a part of yourself, yeah. They do serve a purpose, and each one of them have got their own roles within the system. Dem has become more of a protector. She is very, say if I was to get into a very traumatic event right now, Dem, I believe, would be the first person to step in. She'd be there, hands up, ready to kick some ass, and you very well know she would. And it's amazing how it's becoming like that. And Angel seems to be more of a social kind of person. He speaks to a lot of people in a calm manner. He speaks to people in a more caring manner, and I've talked to them and you, and they'll come back to protect. Yeah. And Angel seems to be a bit more of a negotiator than he is anything else. Like, because Dem get pissed at me. Like, she's hiding chocolate somewhere in this house. I bought her a load of chocolate the other day, and she's got her own cupboard full of chocolate, right? And apparently, she's got a hidden stash somewhere in this house. And because because she doesn't drink anything else but juice, I am actually enjoying some juice right now and stealing her juice. So, yeah, we all. She knows. She tells me specifically to go and get some chocolate, and then she goes and hides chocolate in this house. No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I bet you do. So, I need to go and basically go hunting today and see where this freaking little stash she's been hiding from me. So, yeah, I'm also going to go out after this and go and get a journal, and we can actually talk a lot better. The only way in which we can communicate at the moment is when we switch, and it's whoever's left in the rooms, and we can talk that way. So I think it would be a lot easier to actually get our thoughts and our processes down on paper. And if there's, say, something we don't want the other person to know, we can say like write private or something like that, and we wouldn't read it. Whereas if it's just like we switched at this time and we're feeling a bit upset or something like that, I have to go, but this has been a very positive experience. Very proud of you. Hugs to everyone. Thank you, Amy. I do appreciate it, and I would love to see you a lot more, and it means the world for you to come here. So yeah, let's get everything out on the table, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of this experiences and stuff like that, and just having a word with everybody. So yeah, thank you everyone for that. And so yeah, any more questions? I'd be more than happy to try and answer them. I'm not saying I'm going to do very well. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, not everybody is going to want to communicate with you, as in like different alters. So if you've got the ID in the chat, anybody who's watching, they are not going to want to make contact with you straight away. I'm not sure if Nightbot works. Oh, it does. Look at you. Nightbot's being actually productive today. What's going on? But yeah, it's not a personal thing. It takes a lot of time. Not really. You've done a great job of explaining everything. Thank you. There's a lot more which I need to discover. Dem is doing her own research, and she's going to share it with me a little later on and see what's going on. Yuriko has actually been helping me by sending me a couple of pages and just reading up about it. And it is interesting. What about you, Ryan? Have you got any questions for me? So DID is basically a very strong version of post-traumatic stress disorder. So I would say it's a bit more severe, as in it's a longer lasting effect, even though PTSD is very, very traumatic for the person involved. So people from war or, like having this kind of trauma, that's fine. I appreciate that. So another thing to do with DID is usually the person has suffered with some kind of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and possibly suicidal tendencies and self-harm. Personally, I haven't gone towards self-harm or suicidal tendencies, and that was mainly due to Dem being very strong. She would kick my ass. When I was younger, however, I did think of suicide, and not so much self-harm, but I did have a lot of panic attacks, and that was, I think, a couple of years ago. So when I first started talking to Ryan, I was having panic attacks, and there was a lot of stuff going on with my life at the time. Brian didn't actually discover I had DID until a lot later. I think it was about a year or two, year and a half later, before we actually told him. And it was something in which we kept to ourselves. We obviously, it's a very private thing. We don't usually talk to people, in a sense that we are very self-motivated, I guess. So like we keep to ourselves, and desocialized, I should say. Eating disorders is another thing associated with DID. It's not always a thing, but it is. It can be associated with it. Eating disorders, I would not say I have one personally. I would say that my eating usually is not very good. Some days I'll not have anything to eat. Dem has tended to basically miss food, and then we've switched. And then I've obviously had something a lot later, usually the next day. We've never really lost weight to the point where we're like anorexic, or we haven't gained weight until like to the point where we're overweight. So we've had quite a fair eating pattern. Obsessive compulsive disorder is also a thing associated with DID. Me personally, I do not. Dem, however, has got her own rituals. She's got her things basically in line on what she wants to do throughout the day. Like for example, she gets a juice, and then she usually gets on the internet and basically goes on to research straight away. That is normally her first hour of being up, and then she goes and does what she needs to do throughout the day. So she's got her own certain rituals and what she wants to do. She also has to have like knives and forks cleaned daily. That is a thing what she does, and she also makes bed like constantly, like usually 2 to 3 times a day. But she's kind of been a bit lax on that one lately. So she has got her own rituals and things like that. Sleeping problems we do have as well. Usually like insomnia, or some kind of sleeping disorder, in which yesterday we didn't get much sleep at all. I think I had about 4 to 5 hours sleep maybe, and that is an ongoing thing as well. And what is happening to my music right now? There we go. So that is a thing that we suffer with personally, and usually we're on Discord to be able to discuss it. I'm very happy and proud of you, and I have tremendous faith in you. Thank you. And still a bit nervy, but we're calming down a little. But yeah, before the stream, Dem was very, very vocal. She was on the verge of switching. Luckily, we was discussing it, and we actually decided to basically just be me today. Let's get everything out in the water. Let's just say, like, out on the table. Basically tell everybody what's going on. Let's leave the switching until later. I don't think it would be beneficial for anybody right now for us to switch. We have been in voice chat, and we have been in calls in which we have switched, and it's very, it's one of those. So yeah, thank you everybody for today. I'm going to go into it a bit more in depth properly, and a bit more time, a bit more research going on and what's going on with the disorder, what's happening to me personally in future streams, and see what's going on that way. And I will be streaming, I believe tomorrow. I will be streaming some more Borderlands. I need to get back into streaming. I've given the week off mainly to get my head in order and have a word with people and doctors and all this kind of horrible stuff. But we are moving forward. We're not standing still. We're going to go head on and basically kick some ass. So before I wrap up the stream, have we got any more questions before I leave? And yeah. And if not, I will end the stream. Okay, I will take that as a big no, and thank you everybody for showing up today. I really do appreciate it. If you need to contact me, you can always personally email me in the description or in the info on the channel, and there's also our Discord to actually join as well if you just want somebody to connect to, or if you need a bit of support. And what happened? I asked if there was any questions, and it doesn't seem so. Yeah. But yeah, if you need somebody to basically talk to, we are always here, and we are going to be doing this a lot more, I think. There we go. Look at Nightbot. Freaking boss today is going on. What's going on? Normally not. You write something and it just says, no, fuck you. That's what you get. But yeah, thank you everybody for today. It does mean a lot. No, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's going fine, and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, thank you everybody, and I will be in Discord. I'll see you all tomorrow, and stay awesome, guys. Bye.